William Faulkner came to the University of Virginia from Oxford, Mississippi in February of 1957. Mr. Faulkner, a Nobel Prize winner in literature, was the first writer in residence at the university.
The thing I remember most is having the experience of being in close proximity with somebody of that stature. And you have to remember that in 1957 or 58, those kinds of experiences were very hard to come by. I was very peripheral to his being here, but I was an English major, and I did experience being in various settings with him. The one that I remember most is in Rouse Hall. I can see him so clearly sitting at a table, and it seems to me there was a microphone there, but this was pre-electronics, and so the acoustics weren't all that good. And I can remember that hall was just slightly elevated. I was sitting in the far back, and you could hear what he was saying if you listened very carefully. He spoke very quietly. He definitely had a Mississippi drawl, and it was hard to hear what he was saying, especially in the first few months. I think later, as he became more comfortable, he became easier to hear and understand.
This is about the horses. When the Texan, picking his teeth with a splintered kitchen match, emerged from the house 20 minutes later, the tethered wagons and riding horses and mules extended from the lot gate to Varner's store. And there were more than 50 men now standing along the fence beside the gate, watching him quietly, a little covertly, as he approached, rolling a little, slightly bow-legged, the high heels of his carved boots printing neatly into the dust. "Morning, gents," he said. "Here, Bud," he said to the little boy, who stood slightly behind him, looking at the protruding butt of the pistol.
I just don't know of people sitting down and having that much conversation with him. I did not. I never was with him one-on-one. He began to circulate around socially. He certainly was at various fraternities, and you could see him. He frequently walked up and down the lawn, and the pictures, including the one that was on the cover of the Alumni News in '98, that's a fairly typical shot of him. He always wore that Tyrolean hat, and he usually had the pipe, and gradually he just became sort of a familiar figure around. I arrived here in January of 1955, and I was getting my feet on the ground, and I wasn't in on much of anything, but it was widely known eventually that there were questions about, that there were different opinions about whether the university should go out of its way to have William Faulkner here as a visiting writer in residence. Joe Blotner, in his recent book, said that it was hard to get the administration, and when you say the administration, you mean the president primarily, especially in those days, which was Colgate Darden, who was president during my entire time here, that Mr. Darden was not all that enthusiastic about having Faulkner here. I think it's true that Mr. Darden didn't feel that this was something the university had to have to enhance its reputation, that its reputation was good enough. Overall, I would say that having Mr. Faulkner here, among other things, put the University of Virginia on the map as far as American literature was concerned, and world literature, and so forth. Being able to hear a Nobel laureate and Pulitzer Prize winner talk at all was just a wonderful thing. Also, it was possible to observe that this was a normal human being, a little different in his interests, a little different in his lifestyle and so forth, but nonetheless, one could aspire to be a writer. It has encouraged me. I taught English for a good while, and I'm the type of person who gets a lot of energy from having been around a person like that, and for having been in a university that thought that was important.
You said that you regarded respectability as one of the prime enemies of individualism. Do you regard love as an enemy of individualism?
No. What's love got to do with respectability?
William Faulkner was writer-in-residence for 2 semesters. While at Virginia, Mr. Faulkner was made honorary consultant in American literature at the Alderman Library, where he continued work on his current novel, The Mansion.
And it was certainly true that as you traveled around the country, as I did some in the work that I did, for a good while, and probably even today among American literature enthusiasts, when you said you went to the university, they said, "Oh, you had William Faulkner there. Did you have him?" And I could say, well, he didn't teach classes, but I certainly sat at his feet. I just think that for some of us, and I'm sure not everyone would have the same feeling that I have, but the very presence of somebody like that was just inspiring.